Hey folks, Malforian here, and yes, today is another teaser for Chapter 3 content for Crusader Kings 3, and today's was based on Wards and Wardens, the text of which actually continues on directly from yesterday's. I know up to now, many of these have kind of carried on the same story of this character really, that they've been talking about in each of these teasers, but today's directly kind of carries on from yesterday's. If we remember that one, that was based on tours and tournaments, about riding through a village and town, being welcomed by jubilant cheers about the epic victories and great deeds that the character had been on during their tours and tournaments, I would presume. But then today's actually follows on from that. But as the spectre of future looms ever greater, the celebrations today fade. I look to my heir, wondering if I've done enough to impart the wisdom of our lineage. So that carries on exactly from yesterday's, where they were building up the greatness of the character, and then today that same character is thinking, have I done enough to set up my kingdom for my heir, and is he going to be competent enough to kind of carry on my dynasty and bring glory to my kingdom? So this is, I guess, where the height of this character's story is going to start, tapering off. They've done as best as they can, much like us as players. We set up our kingdoms as well as we can. We do as much as possible on our characters to further the glory of our empires, but then we are always thinking in the back of our mind, oh, is my heir any good? Have I played the eugenics game well enough? Or is it going to be a slow, fickle, lazy character and I've kind of potentially ruined my campaign? We've all had those. A lot of people quit the game then. I don't. I just roll with it, see what happens. It's how you can sometimes tell the best stories in this game, to be honest. But anyway, before we get sidetracked onto how I play Crusader Kings 3, I have done a video about that, so you can watch that. I'll leave a link in the description down below, or one of those little eye things in the corner if you are interested. But as I was saying, this teaser kind of sets up the fall, I guess, for the rest of the story, because I imagine with them thinking like, oh, have I set up my heir correctly and things like that, I imagine tomorrow's is going to be where something goes wrong. I did see a lot of comments saying this suggested something towards diseases as the focus of the first DLC, which I'm going to get onto in a second, actually clarifying something from the previous videos. But yeah, they think that this leans towards disease. Tomorrow's is going to be like, yeah, my heir's doing great, and then it's going to be the Black Death or something, just kills his heir, and then he's got like a terrible second heir. And that's going to be like the end of the story, I guess, of like, oh, I set everything up amazing, but the fickle curse of disease has basically ruined all my plans. And we could get a CK3 version of the Reaper's Due, which was, if you never played CK2, probably one of the best DLCs they ever did for that game. The mechanics and things that it brought in were just really, really cool. And as we've seen with everything that they've kind of reintroduced into CK3, I think by and large has been better than how they did it on CK2. You could say maybe Secret Religions, which was kind of added in Legacy of Persia, is not as good. I know some people who definitely do believe that, but I do think if it is going to be diseases, it's going to be some really cool mechanics, and it's going to be game-wide, which does make me believe that the focus of these is maybe going to be the core expansion. As we know, there's going to be no flavor pack, it's going to be the core expansion, and they've said that's going to be like a game-wide system and updates for everyone to enjoy. That's why they're not doing a flavor pack this time around. There's some real mechanical changes they want to make to the game, and it's kind of the best way for them to do it, or that's what they believe. It does look like these maybe are focusing on one of the expansion packs, because I have seen some people comment like, yes, we're on kind of like the hype train for unlanded characters. I know some people aren't on that journey. They don't want it to be unlanded characters. And I've seen comments saying like, no, we don't want the whole thing to be unlanded characters. That's not what I'm saying when I'm doing these videos. I'm not saying the entire Chapter 3 DLC is going to be focused on unlanded characters. That is crazy talk. There's no way that could happen. I think what it's going to be is either the main expansion or the core expansion is going to be focused on one thing, but I think that content's going to make such a big change to the entire game. That's going to be the focus of these teasers. Whichever one it is, whatever it is, it could be neither of those. It could just be a rework of the Byzantines. Who knows? It's all just been one massive troll to get that into the game. We will find out obviously on Tuesday, but do let me know in the comments down below. I'm not going to keep you that long today. I do believe this might sway it again a little bit further away from unlanded characters, but it could still be that. Like, unlanded characters still works, I think, under this. Maybe he's going to build up his heir, and then he just comes in at the end and says, and then some unlanded character stole my realm. And it's just going to be written like one of those CK3 Reddit posts where somebody's complaining about having a fun experience. You know the ones I mean. Come on, we've all been on there and laughed at people. Anyway, that is going to be it for today, guys. Do you think this signals one way or another? I do kind of believe the people who think it might point towards diseases. I'm not too sure the earlier ones do. I have seen that the devs have said the teasers are telling a story, but they are also giving hints towards what the DLC is going to be. I think as a whole, the ones that we've had so far could fit a few things. So as we get nearer and nearer to the end, as we get closer to Monday, which is the last one, we will, I think, have a pretty good idea. As I said, that's going to be it for today. Hit like, subscribe if you're new here. I cover Crusader Kings. We're obviously building up to the announcement of Chapter 3 and all that entails. But outside of that, I do cover news, dev diaries, I do campaigns, live streams, all that cool stuff. And I do cover other historical strategy games on the channel as well. But we'll leave it there for today, and I'll see you in the next one.